So let me take the first 3 minutes before the session to introduce the speaker of today. So the guest speaker for today is Professor Dr. T. Vail Murugan, Head and Associate Professor of PG and Research Department of MCA. So a day before, a couple of days before, we were in telephonic conversation. At that time, I actually requested Professor to have one such a session. Spontaneously, Professor accepted our invitation and he agreed to take the session in the very recent tool, that is open source NoSQL based database management tool named Cassandra. Okay. So anyhow, it will be in detail uh, elaborated by Professor. So I take uh, the privilege to introduce our speaker. So on while I'm having a look over his profile, his profile actually going for around 45 sheets. So I don't know whether I can complete it, and this 1 hour will not be a sufficient one. But then it is my bounden duty to tell about his achievements. And being academician, I can say all facets of an academician has been fulfilled by professor, right? So to spot a few of his achievements, Sir had completed his. Let me admit, people are actually joining. So Sir had completed his PhD in the year 2012, and he had produced around 301 MPhil scholars and 17 PhD scholars, and few of them are waiting for their vivos. And you can see whenever you are coming across for any academic session, for any technical event, without Sir's name, the invitation or the poster or the pamphlet will not be the completed one. I can say that. Okay, and around 18 sessions has been keynote speaker to the international conferences. And see, I'm scrolling the pages and I'm coming out with the quite important portfolios taken by Professor. And Professor is a member of much more academic social networks and editor to much more journals. Journals also, the reputed journals like SCI, Scientific Citation Index journals, and Scopus Index. And I can even say from our own Tamil Nadu, he's the one and only person who has been invited as a keynote speaker to various other international conferences held in across globe. So we are much more privileged to have such a completed academician. Hope you all will gain much more knowledge along with Professor. And the tool also, the recent trend or tool, NoSQL based database management system, it has got its own scope for the need of the hour today. Okay? So make use of the opportunity. Now the floor is open for Professor and you people. Thank you, Professor. Please.
Okay, thank you. Is my screen visible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, one and all. I would like to welcome you all for the webinar on little bit about the Cassandra, a NoSQL database for big data analytics. Cassandra is a specialized kind of software which is run for the analysis of big data. Also, Cassandra is the specialized tool for creating, accessing, extracting the NoSQL database. Before starting this program. First, I would like to thank for inviting me as a resource person for this webinar to the academicians like Principal of Yathraj College for Women and the head of the department of the MCA department and the organizing committee members of the department of MCA and the faculty members, those who are involved in this process. Thank you very much for inviting me as a resource person for this webinar. Before going to discussion about what is Cassandra, first we would look what is the agenda of today's session. What is Cassandra? History of Cassandra, who is using Cassandra nowadays, what are the features and architectures, components and applications of the Cassandra, how the Cassandra is related with NoSQL databases, what is Cassandra query language, CLQL, and what is the data model used actually in Cassandra. Finally, we conclude this session. This is the agenda of today's session. You know that very well. Cassandra is shown as a third eye. A third eye. Cassandra is actually the symbol for the Cassandra is an eye, which is actually third eye, because we can have many application areas of the Cassandra. We can have the different approaches, different views of the databases by using this Apache Cassandra. That's why this Cassandra is actually called as a highly scalable NoSQL database. A highly scalable NoSQL databases. Okay. Actually, what we want to discuss about the Cassandra in this session. First, we introduce Cassandra. What is Cassandra? What is the architecture of Cassandra? What is the NoSQL database? Or how we can be able to implement NoSQL database? What are the data models available in Cassandra? What are the application areas of the Cassandra? Then what is actually the Apache Cassandra? And what are the features available? Before that, history of the Cassandra. These things we want to discuss in this session. First, we discuss what is Cassandra. Actually, it is a specialized kind of tool for big data analytics. It's a specialized kind of tool. It's a tool. It's a database creator for the big data analytics. So, Cassandra is a tool in which it is a distributed database from Apache that is highly scalable and designed to manage very large amounts of structured and unstructured data. Which provides a high availability with no single point of failure. Never failure can happen during the accessing of any kind of databases using the Cassandra. That's why this Cassandra is actually called as no single point of failure may happen during the process of the any database using the Cassandra. Therefore, it is a distributed database which is derived and which is actually used in Apache group of softwares. Also, it is highly scalable. What is the meaning of that word highly scalable? There is no lower limitation of using the databases. There is no higher level limitation of using the databases. What is the maximum number of databases we can able to utilize? It is unlimited. What is the minimum number of databases? Yes, we can utilize both the kind. Therefore, this is highly scalable. The minimum number of databases, minimum and the maximum number of databases is not limited by using this Cassandra. Is the specialty of this Cassandra software. That's why the Cassandra software is actually called as highly scalable. Okay, so just wait. Some people are asking about the how to join because we change the. Okay, therefore the Apache Cassandra is a highly scalable, high performance distributed database which is designed to large amounts of data across many commodity servers. That there are many commodity servers. The server may be different. The server may be different. Many kind of servers. The servers are available anywhere else in the world. But by means of the distributed database technology, this Cassandra will work. So, high performance of the distributed database technology is actually carried out by using this. Now, Apache Cassandra is an open source software. You know that very well what is called as open source software, which is freely available. There is no need for paying any money to install this Cassandra software. Also, it is a distributed and a decentralized storage system. Decentralized distributed storage system. It's a database oriented software. The database oriented software is used for managing very large amount of structured data spread out across the world. This is the main point of the Cassandra. Actually, which has a distributed architecture which is capable to handle a huge amount of data. Okay, sir. How the scalable software, highly scalable. I want to give more explanation about the highly scalable software. Even also, this Cassandra is a column family oriented software. There is no row family. Row oriented extraction is not carried out in Cassandra. Column oriented extraction. So this is the specialty of the distributed architecture. Actually, the data is placed on different machines with more than one replication factor to attain a high availability without a single point of failure. Data are available in different machines, in different servers, in different places with replicated data, that is duplicated data. The same data will be available more than one server. Any kind of data. The replication of data is number one point. Whenever this Cassandra software identifies some replication of data without any hesitation, the Cassandra software extracts the information and produce its results. So it's a type of NoSQL database. It's a type of NoSQL database. Actually, what is Cassandra? Cassandra is a replication-oriented data extraction software. So it is easy to data replication, easy to distribute the data. We can manage schema-less concept. Schema-less concept we can easily manage. There is a peer-to-peer architecture must follow in the Cassandra software, which is highly available, which carried out using a high performance software. Like a high performance software, this Cassandra will work. So these are the special features available in the Cassandra. That's why the Cassandra are mostly utilized in many companies nowadays. Below, we have some notable points of Cassandra. It is scalable, fault tolerant, and consistent. What is fault tolerant and consistent? Some kind of data may not consistent data. Inconsistent data may also extracted by using this Cassandra software, by means of this Cassandra software. Fault tolerant means some error informations are also rectified and extracted by means of this Cassandra software. It is a column-oriented database. First, you have to understand what is the column-oriented database. Mostly, the traditional RDBMS softwares like Oracle, Sybase, Power Filter, these Oracle softwares are used. SQL commands are used there in Oracle that is RDBMS, Relational Database Management System softwares are used SQL queries and RDBMS queries, that is Oracle queries. These queries are used, these queries are carried out based on the row oriented, that is tuple oriented. A tuple is a row in a table. A row in a table is called as a tuple. You know that very well, exactly. So tuple oriented extraction is carried out by means of the RDBMS software. It's a traditional database management system. There are number of attributes are very less, which is actually accessed by using this RDBMS software. The number of attributes in a database, in a file or in a record are very less. If the number of attributes are very high, it is not possible to exactly, frequently, easily utilize the RDBMS software. Number of attributes, more than 100 attributes, 1000 attributes are available in a particular file, in a particular record, in a particular database. 1000 attributes are available. If you use the traditional RDBMS packages, RDBMS softwares, then all the 1000 attributes are exactly read out by the system, exactly read out by the software, and then the next record is to be extracted. So it takes some time consuming. It takes time, very large time, when you use the RDBMS software. So every row attribute values are extracted by using the RDBMS packages. But here, the column family database, column family oriented software, column oriented database designing capability. Suppose 1000 attributes are available. Only we require 2 attributes. Only these 2 attributes are extracted. The remaining attributes, 998 attributes, are not taken into account for its extraction. So this is the speciality of this, the open source NoSQL database, column family oriented databases. So the RDBMS packages are not suitable for high dimensional data. High dimensional data. What is called as high dimensional data? The high dimensional data are the number of attributes in a database are very high, more than 1000 attributes, more than 10,000 attributes. Is it possible, sir? You can imagine about a single database containing 10,000 attributes. How we can able to select a particular attribute by means of using some specialized kind of feature selection method and the pre-processing techniques. We have to utilize some of the feature selection methods in order to select some of the important attributes which is going to extract by means of this Cassandra software. Not only Cassandra software, HBase, Hive, Piglet, these are some softwares which are used frequently for the NoSQL databases. All these softwares are exactly utilized for the purpose of analyzing the high dimensional data set. Therefore, the column-oriented database is the specialty of this Cassandra software. Its distribution design is based on Amazon Dynamo and its data model on Google Bigtable. Google Bigtable data model is actually carried out. So initially, this Cassandra software is created at a Facebook company. It differs sharply from relational database management systems, which implements a Dynamo-style replication model with no single point of failure. Already informed you. It's a column family data model. It is being used by some of the biggest companies such as Facebook, Twitter, Cisco, Rackspace, eBay, Twitter, and Netflix, and more. Very famous companies, Netflix and Twitter, Cisco, Facebook. These companies are used mostly the Cassandra software. Now we discuss about the history of the Cassandra. This Cassandra was initially developed by Facebook by two Indians, Avinash Lakshman, one of the authors of Amazon's Dynamo, and Prashant Malik. It was developed to cover the Facebook inbox search features. This is the initial inventor of this Cassandra software. Initially, Google plus Amazon, Google big table concept oriented Cassandra software is created, and then it should be developed by Amazon software in 2007, and which is developed by Facebook at 2008, and which is called developed by Apache company in 2009. Finally, 2010, the Cassandra full version is released. So this is the small, simple history of the Cassandra. But this is, you know that very well, the evaluation criteria already we discussed, 2005, 2006 and 2010 onwards, 2008 to 10, some of the versions of the Cassandra are available. But the original fully developed compiler version of the Cassandra is released at 2013. The enterprise and the commodity editions are actually released. Now this is the small history about the Cassandra software. This is the Cassandra software is developed by Avinash and Prashant in Facebook company, which is Facebook inbox search failure based information. Then Facebook in July 2008 and Apache incubator in March 2009 and Apache 2010, and finally Cassandra 3.2.1 is released nowadays. Okay, who is using this software? Whether you are all doing very well or not, we are all using Dell laptop. 100% this Dell laptop, HP laptop, Sky software, Cisco, Disney software, ScanDisk, Bluetooth company, Netflix, both audio and video visualization company. These are all IBM. These companies are mostly used with this Cassandra software. So within this, we can easily identify what is the specialty of this Cassandra. How easily the Cassandra software is utilized by these very famous companies. Yahoo also utilized this Cassandra software. Accenture, the software development company, 80 to 90% of the softwares are developed by using this Cassandra software. Cisco WebEx meetings are mostly carried out by using this Cassandra software. Okay, Twitter, Facebook, NASA, Microsoft companies, some of the 50 to 60% of the Microsoft company products are developed by using this Cassandra software. So a lot of companies are available. Now we discuss about features of Cassandra. What are the special features? There are a lot of outstanding technical features which makes Cassandra very popular. Technically, very easily we can implement this software. Technical features are very effectively carried out by using this software. There are various technical features, specially developed, used technical features are available in the Cassandra. One is high scalability. Already, I have explained what is high scalable. Highly scalable, which facilitate you to add more hardware to attach more customers and more data as per requirement. This software is fixed to any kind of hardware, oriented equipment. So we can easily implement it. We can highly scalable. The software means number of people utilizing the software is very high. Rigid architecture, the another one is Cassandra has not a single point of failure, and it is continuously available for business critical applications and cannot afford a failure. So architecture which is used very much.
Sir, என்ன உங்களுக்கு PhD award இருக்கு
8 maybe.
8
No, myself 8 produced.
8 sir history of calculations
I will give you. So Cassandra has a specialized kind of architecture. Specialized kind of architecture. What specialized kind of architecture the Cassandra used? Replications. Replicate data, duplicate data. If more than the same data is available more than once, then you should process exactly. Fast linear scale performance. Cassandra is linearly scalable. It increases what is linearly scalable. Only one column is to be extracted. One column is processed, not the entire row attributes. Entire row values are taken into account. So it increases your throughput because it facilitates you to increase the number of nodes in the cluster. Therefore, it maintains a quick response time. So, because it linearly scalable capability, easily the processing time is taken very less. Then fault tolerance. Fault tolerance, it's tolerant. Cassandra is fast fault tolerant. Suppose there are 4 nodes in a cluster. Cluster means you know that very well same group of informations are grouped into one cluster. Same kind of informations are combined into one group. That group is called as one cluster. The different kind of informations are grouped into another. That is another cluster. So there are 4 nodes in a cluster. Here each node has a copy of same data. Each node has a copy of same data. Okay. Each node has a copy of the same data. So each and every node, if a cluster has the same data, only once the information is processed. If one node is no longer servicing, then other 3 nodes can serve the prerequisite. If you want to process the other 3 nodes, then only it should be processed. Otherwise, only the first node alone are taken into account for the process. So this is the fast tolerance feature of this Cassandra. Then flexible data storage. Flexible data storage. What is the easily the data are stored? The structured data, mostly the structured data are carried out. So Cassandra supports all possible data formats like structured, semi-structured, unstructured. Every data kind of data should be processed and stored. Okay. It facilitates you to make changes to your data structures according to your need. Based on your need of the data structure concepts. So this data storage is flexibly done by the Cassandra softwares. The next feature of this Cassandra is data distribution. When processing a data, the data distribution in Cassandra is very easy because it provides a flexibility to distribute data where you need by replicating data across multiple data centers. I already informed you. Replicating the data is very well easily carried out, distributed using this Cassandra software. Okay. So then transaction support. Cassandra supports properties like atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. As said, it's a property of the NoSQL databases. Atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability is the property of the NoSQL database. Also, this involves the big data processing. These 4 points are involved mostly in the big data processing, big data analytics. So when we transfer some information from one place to source to destination, very easily the transaction support is carried out by using this Cassandra. Then fast rates. Cassandra was designed to run cheap commodity hardware. So easily whatever the hardware, whether it you have to fit the software or not, but the Cassandra software easily accept, write, stores the information. It performs blessingly fast writes and can store hundreds of terabytes of data. We have to discuss about the terabytes, because why we discuss about the terabytes means most of these features in Cassandra are used for big data processing. 100 terabytes data are actually called as big data, otherwise the data are not called as big data. Without sacrificing the read efficiency of this terabyte of data, the Cassandra software quickly process and writes and store it in the any kind of uh, hardware commodity. So elastic scalability, efficient write, hardware and fault tolerant, tunable consistency, Cassandra query language which supports flexible data storage, easy data distribution. These are the features of this Cassandra software. Okay, now we are coming to the point of discussion about what are the different data types available in the Cassandra. Okay, already we have enough discussion about the features of the Cassandra, but the data types, what are the special data types which are used in Cassandra? Normally we use integer, boolean, decimal, float, these things normally we use. Okay, but apart from this, big end, ASCII, flops. What is the use of this big end means 64-bit signed long integer also accepted by this Cassandra software. Only we accept C. If you use C, Java, only 8-bit signed integer alone, or up to 16-bit integer alone are taken into account processing when we processing using the C, Java and both like that. This software, but Cassandra software accepts a 64-bit signed long end integer. So, like there are various facilities are available in the data types: boolean, counter, decimal, double, float, frozen, tuples, collections, user-defined types. Some kind of user-defined types are defined by using this Cassandra types. Another inet, int, list, map, and set, text, timestamp, time UUID, tuple, UUID, what variable character, that is varchar means variable character, variant, this variable integer, that is variant. So this kind of specialized data types are mostly utilized in Cassandra softwares. Okay, so the apart from the normal integer type, float type, double float type, this Cassandra software utilizing more data types. The number of data types are utilized by this Cassandra softwares. Okay, now we coming to the point of discussion about the architecture of the Cassandra. Cassandra was designed to handle big data workloads across multiple nodes without a single point of failure. Frequently we use without a single point of failure. If we use the Cassandra software, whether it is small data or big data, whether it is high dimension data or low dimension data, whether it is the structured data or unstructured or semi-structured data, there is no failure counted by means of this Cassandra software. There is no failure. Whatever the data, all the data should be processed successfully. Therefore, this Cassandra software is actually called as without a single point of failure, the Cassandra process its execution. So it has a peer-to-peer distributed system across its nodes and the data is distributed among all the nodes in a cluster. So in Cassandra, each node is independent at the same time interconnected to other nodes. That is very, very important. The nodes are interconnected with other nodes. All the nodes in a cluster play the same role. So for example, every node in a cluster can accept read and write request regardless of where the data is actually located in the cluster. In the group of informations, actually where the informations are available, where the actual required attribute values are available, which accept the Cassandra software accept to read and write information. So in case of failure of one node, the read and write request can be served from other nodes in the network. That is the specialty of this Cassandra software. So data replication in Cassandra is number one point. Data replication in Cassandra. See, in Cassandra, nodes in a cluster act as replicas for a given piece of data. In some of the nodes are responded with an out-of-date value. Some nodes informations are out of date, the past data. Now current data is not available. The current data should be fetched by the Cassandra. So Cassandra will return the most recent value to the client. So based on the availability of the current data, the Cassandra will return the information. So after running the most recent value, Cassandra performs a read repair in the background to update the scale values. So very easily repaired informations are read by this Cassandra software. You have to see this picture. See the following image to understand the schematic view of Cassandra, which uses data replication among the nodes in a cluster to ensure no single point of failure. What is this? Node 1 is a server, which is requested to node 2. This is also a server, which is requested to node 3. This is also a server. Not only from node 1 to node 2, also from node 2 to node 1, also from node 1 to node 3, and also from node 3 to node 1. Some replication may be carried out. In node 1, node 2, node 3, node 5, here 5 nodes are used for its purposes. In each and some nodes are having the replicated data. All the data should be processed. The required information alone are taken into account. This is the main architecture of the Cassandra. Repeated items are taken into account once, only once in this architecture. This is the main feature of this Cassandra. Okay. What are the different components which is used in Cassandra? Node. A Cassandra node is a place where data is stored. Normally a server. Data center is a collection of related nodes. It's a collection of related nodes. Collection of the data servers, data centers. Cluster. A cluster is a component which contains one or more data centers. So you can see from top to bottom there are some communication, there are some relationships. Then what is called as commit log in Cassandra? The commit log is a cross recovery mechanism. Cross recovery mechanism. Every write operation is returned to the commit log. Cross recovery operation. So commit log is used to write operation, which is every write operation is written to the commit using this component, commit log component. Then next one is mem table. A mem table is a memory resident data structure. A mem table is a memory resident data structure. After commit log, the data will be written to the mem table actually. So memory resident data structure is followed in the mem table. Sometimes for a single column family, there will be multiple mem tables. There are no, that is single column family, multiple mem tables are assigned. It's a data structure, how to store memory, the table values in the memory. That is the use of this mem table. Then what is SS table? It's a disk file tool which the data is flushed from the mem table when its contents reach a threshold value. There is a limitation of storing the file into disk. If there are some limitation available, then the limitation is carried out and handled by this SS table. Then Bloom filter. What is this Bloom filter? These are nothing but quick, non-deterministic algorithms for testing whether an element is a member of a set or not. Some of the non-deterministic approaches are used for storing the information. It is a special kind of cache memory. Bloom filter is the special kind of cache memory. You know that very well. What is cache memory? Bloom filters are accessed after every query. Therefore, the cache memory informations are very easily carried out. This is one of the special kind of component in the Cassandra. So how the components are together into access, Cassandra node, memory disk, commit log, and the mem table. SS table is separated from the SS table. Using the flush function, this mem table is accessed. This mem table is actually derived from the Cassandra node. From the Cassandra node to mem table, there must be a commit log operation is carried out. This is the main components of this Cassandra. Now we want to discuss about what is NoSQL database, because without knowing the NoSQL, we cannot easily understand the concept of the NoSQL databases. So a NoSQL database, sometimes called as not only SQL, is a database that provides a mechanism to store and retrieve data other than tabular relations used in relational databases. So in the relational databases, in order to store and retrieve the data, there is no queries utilized for the purpose of storing and retrieving the data. Therefore, this kind of database is called as NoSQL database. These databases are schema free. There is no schema. Schema is not a table-oriented database, not schema-oriented database, which support easy replication. Already I explained. Have simple API, eventually consistent, and can handle huge amounts of data. Therefore, the huge amount of consistent, simple API replicated data are easily carried out, processed by means of this NoSQL data. The main and the primary objective of this NoSQL database is to have some kind of informations. What are the kind of informations? The simplicity of design. The NoSQL databases are simply designed. Horizontally scale, vertical scaling only are carried out in the SQL database. Horizontally scaling the data. Finer control over availability. Very simple control over the availability of the data is carried out. Therefore, this kind of databases use different data structures compared to relational database. It makes some operations faster in NoSQL. The suitability of a given NoSQL database depends on the problem it must solve. So, based on the availability and the suitability of the NoSQL commands, the operations are mostly utilized by using this NoSQL. So, SQL databases are mostly stored in a manner, but from one table to another table, from that table to the previous table alone are carried out this SQL. But in NoSQL, some kind of looping structure may be followed. Looping structure is very, very important. From 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and then 4 to 1, 4 to 2, 4 to 3, 3 to 4, 3 to 2, 3 to 1. Everything may happen during the processing of this using NoSQL. Okay. Therefore, a specialized kind of NoSQL query language is utilized in Cassandra, which is called as Cassandra query language. The CQL is used to access Cassandra through its nodes. CQL treats the database. Database is actually called as key space as a container of tables. Container means which holds some information in the table format is called as container in the big data analytics. If you know very well about Hadoop structure, Hadoop infrastructure oriented, HBase, Hive, Big Latin, MapReduce methods, everything have some container oriented tables. So the SQL treats the database as a container of tables. Programmers use CQLSH. This is a command. A prompt to work with SQL or separate application language drivers. CQLSH is the prompt which appear in front of you after installing this Cassandra query language. Therefore, the client can approach any of the nodes for their real write operations, read and write operations. That node coordinator places a proxy between the client and the nodes holding the data. Then what are the various operations are available? Okay, write operation, read operation. These are some very famous operations. Every write activity of nodes is captured by the commit lags written in the nodes. Later, the data will be captured and stored in the mem table. This is the working flow of this write operation. First, the nodes informations are captured by the commit logs, and then it should be transferred to mem table. Whenever the mem table is full, data will be written into the SS table, transferred to the SS table. All writes are automatically partitioned and replicated throughout the cluster. Therefore, the Cassandra periodically consolidates the SS tables, discarding unnecessary data. The unnecessary data are captured, processed. It should not stored in the database, in the mem table as well as SS table as well as commit logs. This is the special feature which is available in the Cassandra software. So write data, want to memory disk, write data, commit lag, index SS table, flush operations are used, mem table. Finally, every information should be stored in the SS table. That is the main point of this write operations. Then what is the read operation in Cassandra? Cassandra gets values from the mem table and it checks the Bloom filter and to find the appropriate SS table which contains the required data. Initially, the mem table informations are checked with the help of the Bloom filter, and then should be find the appropriate SS table whether the information is available or not. There are three types of read request that is sent to replication by coordinators. One is direct request, second digest request, third one is read repair request. Okay, but each and every request there must be like difference between the operations. Read operations actually used for what purpose means we can read the information from the SS table, from the commit log, from the mem table, from the SS table. This is the main work carried out by using this read operations. The coordinator sends direct request to one of the replicas. After that, the coordinator sends the digest request to the number of replicas specified by the consistency level and checks if the returned data is an updated data or not. So after that, the direct request, some of the digest request to which the coordinator sends digest request to all the remaining replicas. If any one node gives out of date value, a background read repair request will update on that data. This process is called read repair mechanism. Read repair mechanism. Therefore, Cassandra read operation may be carried out by means of understanding this figure. Write, update, memtable, commit log, or memtable is mostly RAM, random access memory. Commit log. In SS table there are various tables are available. So read operation may be read from the mem table and stored it into SS table by with the help of the flush, boom filter. This is the operation of the read. Therefore, Cassandra can be utilized in various applications, can be used for different types of applications. So there are a number of applications utilized nowadays in the real world, the Cassandra software. Messaging. Cassandra is a great database which can handle a big amount of data. So it is prepared for companies that provide mobile phones, messaging services. You can note that mobile phone messaging services are your WhatsApp messages, text messages, original messages are mostly carried out by using this Cassandra software very effectively and efficiently. So this Cassandra is the best fit, the best software for sending the messages, then handle high-speed applications. Nowadays, the Cassandra can handle the high-speed data, so it is a great database for the applications where data is coming at a very high speed from different devices or sensors. Highly, we can read out the information. So this Cassandra will provide facility for speedy reading the information, storing the information. Then product catalogs and retail applications. Cassandra is used by many retailers for durable shopping cart protection and cost. I already informed that is the various companies like Amazon software. Amazon softwares are used this Cassandra software. But nowadays we are effectively utilizing the social media analytics and the recommendation engine. You are all seen one video in Facebook. What is called as a social media analytics and the recommendation system or recommender system or recommendation engine. What is called as recommender system? Recommendation software, recommender software, recommendation engine, recommendation system, recommendation software, all are same. So recommender system, how it will work? Suppose if you see a video in the Facebook, after seeing your video, same type of video will appear after the visualizing the actual video which is shown by you. How this is happened in the Facebook? That is called as recommender system. The recommender system is, just wait 1 minute. Hello. Yes. 1 minute. I am in webinar. The social media recommender system mostly utilized this Cassandra software. It's a great database for many online companies and the social media providers for analysis and recommendation to the customers. Nowadays we are all using the Facebook, WhatsApp and Twitter and Instagram. All these Twitter, Instagram, Facebook are 100% utilize this recommender system, recommender software. This is one of the very famous applications. So analytics are carried out, storage purpose, Cassandra is very easy, back-end development is very easy, monitoring applications very easy, time series based applications are very effectively carried out. Then messaging is carried out effectively by using this Cassandra. Time series based applications are, that is I already informed during my sessions. Suppose if some data are missing, not updated, the updated data should be processed by means of this Cassandra. So there are various application connectivity with the Cassandra. First you got to apply the application from the driver to application to driver. The Cassandra database having a looping structure. The application connectivity Cassandra is having a looping structure. So based on the looping format, the Cassandra will work. So high level personalization pipeline flow. What is Apache, Koba, Golf, Kafka is one of the special software. This is HDFS is one software. Crunch is Apache Crunch is another one software. Storm is another one software. Kafka is another one software. These are all software, but these are all particularly used in some kind of databases. But Cassandra utilizes all this kind of softwares. So Apache Cassandra is the entity metadata store, which user profile store. Contextually, user attributes are very flexibly carried out by using this Apache Cassandra, compared with the Crunch, HDFS, Storm, and Kafka. So data models in Cassandra. Next, there are various data models already from the cluster. What is cluster? What is the use of the cluster? You know that very well. The outermost container is known as the cluster. Cassandra arranges the nodes in a cluster in a right ring format. Already looping format, that is ring format. I already informed that this is the ring format. The Cassandra nodes are carried out. Okay, and assign data to them. Then key space, what is called as key space, is the outermost container for data in Cassandra. The basic attributes of a key space in Cassandra are, there are various key spaces. A storage space in Cassandra. Replication factor is one of the key space. It is the number of machines in the cluster that will receive copies of the same data. Same data will appear more than once. Only one information should be accessed by means of this Cassandra. One of the key spaces is this one. Replica placement strategy is very simply carried out. Simple strategy. Old network topology strategy. Network topology strategy. All the three kinds of topologies are carried out very effectively by means of this Cassandra. This is one of the special kind of data model utilized. So column families, I already explained. What is the use of the column family? Key space is a container for a list of one or more column families. The column family intent is a container of a collection of rows. Each row contains ordered columns. Column families represent the structure of your data. So each key space has at least one and often many column families. Okay. Therefore, the syntax of creating a key space is given below. Create key space name, and then with the replication name. Okay, so key space name, replication name. Replication is equal to class, symbol strategy, or any kind of replication factor. What is the number of replications? Everything is discussed. So the following illustration shows the schematic view of a key space. Key space is column family based. Only one column should be extracted by using this data model. So column family is a container for an ordered collection of rows. Already I explained enough discussion about the column family. Okay. Then what is the difference between the data models which are used in Cassandra and the relational tables? A schema in a relational model is fixed, but in the Cassandra, although the column families are defined, the columns are not defined. It is not fixed. You can freely add any column to any column family at any time. But previously, if you fix the data model, then only the relational data table should be extracted. So relational tables define only columns and the user fills in the table with the values. But in Cassandra, table contains columns, or you can fill the information defined as a super column family. This is the specialty of the table column. So what is Cassandra column family has the following attributes: keys cached, rows cached, preload row cache, node. These are all some special kind of information data models. Keys cached means it represents the number of locations to keep cached per SS table. Then what is rows cached? It represents the number of rows whose entire contents will be cached in memory. So preload row cache, it specifies whether you want to pre-populate the row cache. These things are the very simple. So column family schema is not fixed in the Cassandra data model. So data model is actually row key 1, row key 2 and go to like that. Individually each and every row is separately accessed. Column 1, column 2, column 3. Each and every column must be have a separate values. So this is column is the basic data structure in Cassandra with 3 values. One is byte value, that is name, value, clock. Name of the column and value of the column, time of the column. These are the 3 informations which is stored in the column family database in Cassandra. Then super column, what is super column? There are more than one columns we can able to adapt by using the map concept. Map concept we can able to adapt more than one column. Instead of using the single column here, we can utilize more than one column. If we utilize more than one column, then it should be mapped from one to another. Okay, then what is the difference between the Cassandra and the RDBMS? Cassandra is used to deal with unstructured data mostly effectively, but the RDBMS deal with the structured data. Cassandra is flexible, has a flexible schema, but the fixed schema is carried out in RDBMS. Like there are various speciality compared with the RDBMS software and Cassandra. Row is a unit of replication. Row is an individual record. Column is a unit of storage. Column represents the attributes of a relation. Like there are various differences between the Cassandra and the traditional RDBMS softwares. Now, Hadoop versus Cassandra. We can run Cassandra without the help of the Hadoop. That is the specialty of this Cassandra. What are the features available compared with these two? Usage. Batch processing is carried out in Cassandra. Real-time processing is carried out in Cassandra. Batch processing is carried out in Hadoop. The master-slave architecture is used in Hadoop, but the distributed architecture is used in Cassandra. Like there are various kind of differences between the Hadoop environment and Cassandra. Without the help of the Hadoop environment, Hadoop software, without the help of the cloud era, without the virtual machine concept, we can run the Cassandra. For running the Cassandra, you must know the Java software. Initially, you have to install the Java software. After the Java, some specified version installed and run in your machine, then only the Cassandra will work. Therefore, we can conclude Cassandra lets your cloud reach hyperscale, highly scalable, a maximum number of terabyte oriented databases may be processed. It provides practical solution to get the speed, scale and availability of needed for hundreds of thousands of data writes per second. To make sure your deployment is secure, your deployment means your method which is installed software is secure, always up to date and consistent across your organization. The time series data, Cassandra excels at storing time series data where there is old data nodes not to be updated. Whenever the old data are not updated, the recent data are updated by using this Cassandra. Globally distributed data, geographically distributed data, where a local Cassandra cluster can store data and then reach consistency at later points actually. So I have given some of the informations, basic informations about the Cassandra, but you can installation commands are not given by me. Installation commands are not extracted and replied to you. But if you want the installation commands, you can go to the tutorialspoint.com or guru99.com, javapoints.org, such kind of websites. Okay. Therefore, within this small information about this Cassandra software, I conclude this session. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. If you have any doubt, you can ask me.
Participants, now the floor is open for your clarifications. Make use of the opportunity. As you people are taken from final MCA students, it will be better for the scope of your project development. You can ask, you can post your queries.
Most
Either
of the
post.
companies nowadays utilize this Cassandra software for the messaging purpose. That is very, very important. WhatsApp messages, actual text messages are mostly utilized using this Cassandra software. Also, Cassandra software provides a very flexible visualization technique. Visualization is very, very important because the Netflix software is fully visualization oriented software. The Amazon software is a visualization oriented software. So Netflix is, you know that very well, Netflix, what is the use of the Netflix? Okay, nowadays the Netflix are very effectively utilized this Cassandra software. Okay. So anybody have doubt, you can ask me.
Good afternoon, sir. My
Good
name is
afternoon.
Radha, Assistant
Yeah.
Professor from MC Department.
Okay.
Sir, now I'm trying to download the Apache Cassandra.
Yeah.
I have a small doubt, sir. Uh,
Okay.
After I download the exe file, exe file, how can I start, sir? I'll show that screen, my screen, sir. Just a
Yeah,
minute, please.
there are various operations are available. First, SU software, SU command prompt will appear in front of you.
Oh,
SU software. So I will show. You can. I will show my screen.
okay, sir.
Uh, just wait.
Uh,
Just wait. I will
okay, sir.
show one of the command.
Okay, sir.
Simply you can understand. Just you type Cassandra in which you can go to Cassandra introduction tutorial points, tutorialpoint.com. Here, lot of installation commands are given. Can you hear about? Can you view the commands? What are the prerequisites are required for the installation purpose of the Cassandra? So you must require Linux environment. Without the Linux environment, it's not possible to use this SSH secure shell specialized kind. Then you must use SU root command. These things are very, very essential. These things are very, very essential. How we can install this software very clearly explained in this tutorial. We got to go to the tutorialspoint.com. You understand? Very simply, they given some information about how to install the software how to install the Java. Java is very, very important. Minimum Java version 1.7.0 is required and installed. Also, there are some hardware requirements you require for installing. Only 64-bit system alone are utilized. If you have a 32-bit system, it's not possible to use Cassandra 1. Minimum 8 GB or 10 GB RAM is required. Minimum 8 GB or 16 GB. 10 GB RAM is available, then it should be flexible. There are various commands are given. You can read out these commands, very simple. The simple commands. Or you can go to the javapoint.com. Here, javapoint.com. Here also how to install this information. Everything is given very clearly. Okay, here how we can install Cassandra installation. Just you have another one approach. This is a Cassandra installation using the JDK software. After installing the JDK software, that is Java software, then only it is possible to install. Very clearly they explain in Java point how we can install Cassandra software, right? So it's a very large task, but after installing this program, very simple use. Just only you can utilize the table for extraction processing purpose. Very simple. Okay. So this is another one point, right? You can try to install and then back to me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And any other doubt? Okay.
Dr. Hemamalini ma'am, your mic is unmute. Do you have any doubts to be clarified?
On what platform does Cassandra run?
Linux platform.
Okay, sir.
Linux. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other queries from participant side? Even in chat box, you can register. You can post your queries.
Good afternoon, sir. This is
Good
Navita
afternoon.
from AC College, sir. I'm a student, sir.
Okay.
Sir, how SS table is different from other relational tables, sir?
This SS table is, we can utilize the commands. SS table is the highest table which is utilized in Cassandra. Whenever the mem table and log table entries are over, then the SS table entries are carried out. So whenever the overflow, some of the overflow which is not fit into the mem table, then it should be, the information should be go to the SS table. Bloom table act as a interface between the SS table and log table. One question: what is the purpose of Bloom table, sir? Bloom table act as an interface between the SS table and the common log table. So it's not possible to discuss all these things because large amount of practical approaches are available. But after installing the software, very easy to write source code. Suppose if we use 100 lines in that is 100 lines in Java for writing the access of a particular table, it's enough to write 20 lines in Cassandra. Very simple query language, query oriented language. Then one more question: how Cassandra data stores? It is in the distributed manner, cloud. In the cloud environment, the data are stored only in the cloud. Whenever we talk about the big data, mostly 99% of the data are stored in the cloud. Okay. Then any other doubt? Okay, there is no doubt means thank you very much for giving the opportunity for me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Ma'am, Shanta ma'am.
Hello. Am I audible? My voice?
Yes, yes. Yes, you can inform.
So we have come to the
Do you
end of
have?
the session. All the participants, please take your quantity come quality time to fill up the feedback forms because your feedback is more and more important even for the speaker and the organizer side. I wholeheartedly thank Professor Dr. Murugan for having accepted the for having accepted the invitation spontaneously. So I hope, sir, not only the students, even the faculty members who have joined in this session might have been benefited. And today it's a seed. What you have given is a seed. So let's take it with the positive side, and we'll have some try to get some practical exposure on our own, and we'll try to bring out even more better implementations in the perspective of Cassandra. Thank you so much for the valuable and wonderful session, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, stop
So
recording. Can I leave?
I will share the feedback later, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Stop recording and